Today, I'd like to talk about something that doesn't nearly get called out enough: tokenism. A lot of people have heard the word, but not everyone really understands what it actually means. Tokenism is when someone from a marginalized community is included just for appearance. Not because their voice is valued, not because their knowledge is respected, but because somebody wants to be able to say that they included one of them. And yes, sometimes it's about making an organization look good. It's about optics. It's about being able to show that they have diversity. But tokenism is also something else. Sometimes it's about convenience. Sometimes it's about making someone's job easier. Sometimes it's about ticking a box on a checklist that says that they consulted with an Indigenous person or that they included an Indigenous perspective. And they also go to the one Indigenous person that they know, just one, and suddenly that one person is expected to represent everyone, to answer every question, to explain culture, history, trauma, policy, language, ceremony, community issues, everything. And they become the go-to person for the entire people. And that's not fair. Indigenous communities are not a monolith. One person cannot speak for all nations, all experiences, all families, all histories. But tokenism puts people in that position all the time. And it looks like being invited into a room at the last minute because someone suddenly realized that they needed an Indigenous voice. It looks like being asked to share your story and learn your trauma so that others could learn, but not being included when decisions are actually being made. It looks like organizations, asking for your knowledge and your emotional labor, your time, but not valuing it the way they should. And another part of that is people don't talk about is the compensation. The people are asking for this knowledge and doing it as part of their jobs. They're paid to organize these events. They're paid to run the programs. They're paid to lead the initiative. But the Indigenous person they're calling is often expected to share their time, their story, their knowledge, and their emotional labor either for free or for compensation that doesn't truly reflect the value of the work. And that's not okay. Respect also means fair compensation. If you're asking for someone to educate your organization, share their lived experience, or help guide your work, that is labor. That is real work, and it deserves to be valued appropriately. Too often, people assume that Indigenous people will do it because they care about their community. And yes, of course we care. But caring doesn't mean that our time has no value. Caring doesn't mean that our emotional labor should be undervalued. Respect means understanding that knowledge has value. It means recognizing that lived experience has value. It means that ensuring that the people doing that work are treated with dignity and fairness. And if you've experienced tokenism, you know exactly how it feels. You feel used. You feel obligated. You feel like you're the only one being asked because someone needs something from you. Not because they're genuine or respect your voice. Not because they want real relationships. It's just because they need to check a box. And I'm going to be honest, I have felt tokenized many times in my life, and it still happens today, even in 2026. And it is exhausting because Indigenous people are not here to make systems feel comfortable. We are not here to make institutions look inclusive. We are not here to carry the responsibility of educating everyone all the time simply because we exist. Real inclusion looks very different from tokenism. Real inclusion means inviting people into conversations from the beginning, not at the last minute. Real inclusion means respecting people's knowledge and lived experiences. Real inclusion means building relationships, not just calling on someone when you suddenly realize, oh, I need an Indigenous perspective. It also means understanding that Indigenous people are not responsible for doing all the work for you. Learning takes effort. Building understanding takes effort. And organizations need to be willing to do that work themselves instead of placing it all on one person's shoulders. Because when you rely on tokenism, you're not creating change. You're just creating the appearance of change. And people could feel the difference immediately. So if you're someone working in an organization or planning events or leading programs that talk about diversity and inclusion, ask yourself this. Are you involving people because you genuinely value their voices? Or are you involving them just because you need to tick a box? Because those are two different things. And the people who are being tokenized, we know the difference. We feel it. And frankly, we're tired of it. People deserve to be valued for their voices, their knowledge, and their humanity, not just their identity. Tokenism isn't respect. Tokenism isn't inclusion. And tokenism isn't progress. Respect is. Relationships are. And real change. No more stolen.